The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Tribunal hummed with anticipation as representatives from 47 species took their designated positions. Ambassador Kethlar of the Zephyrian Empire adjusted his ceremonial robes, confident that today would mark the formal subjugation of humanity to the Galactic Accords. The primitive species from Sol 3 had been granted this trial as a courtesy, a civilized formality before their inevitable integration as a client species. "The accused will stand," announced High Arbiter Velnara, her forearms gesturing with practiced authority. The translation matrix carried her words to every corner of the vast chamber, ensuring that even the most exotic neural patterns could comprehend the proceedings. From the defendant's dock, a single human rose. Commander Sarah Chen, representing her entire species, stood barely 5.5 feet tall, diminutive compared to the towering Korthak delegates or the serpentine Seth ambassadors. Her simple black uniform bore no ornamental decorations, no bioluminescent displays of rank, no neural crown demonstrating psychic prowess. To the assembled delegates she appeared painfully ordinary. Ambassador Kethlar suppressed what his species considered a smile. Humans possessed no natural armor, no energy manipulation abilities, no collective consciousness, no regenerative capabilities. They were short-lived, fragile creatures who had somehow stumbled into faster-than-light travel. Today's trial would formalize their place in the galactic hierarchy, somewhere between the Droxy mining castes and the planetary maintenance guilds. "Commander Chen," High Arbiter Velnara intoned, "you stand accused of violating the Galactic Peace Accords through acts of aggression against the hegemony fleet in the Centauri system. How does humanity plead?" The chamber fell silent. Every species had their own rituals of submission when faced with superior force. The Zephyrians demonstrated neural compliance, the Korthak displayed biochemical surrender markers, the Veltar simply ceased all movement. What would this primitive human do? Sarah Chen stepped forward, her boots clicking against the crystalline floor with sharp precision. She raised her head, meeting the gaze of every delegate in the chamber with eyes that burned like dying stars. When she spoke, her voice carried across the vast space without amplification, each word crystalline in its clarity. "We plead not guilty to aggression," she declared. "But we are guilty of something far more dangerous to your empire of compliance and submission." She paused, letting the translation matrix process her words. "We are guilty of being human." Uncomfortable rustling echoed through the chamber. This was not the expected formality. "Honorable delegates," Chen continued, her voice rising, "you see before you a species that your xenobiologists have classified as moderately intelligent persistence hunters with primitive social structures. You have cataloged our physical limitations, our brief lifespans, our lack of natural weapons or defenses. Your reports conclude that humanity presents no significant threat to galactic stability." Ambassador Kethlar felt the first flicker of unease. The human's tone carried something his species had rarely encountered, absolute defiance without a trace of fear. "Your reports are wrong," Chen declared, her voice now carrying the authority of thunder. "You want to know what makes humans dangerous? We are the species that looked at fire and decided to capture it. We are the ones who saw the ocean and built ships to conquer it. We gazed at the sky and refused to accept that we belonged on the ground." She gestured toward the assembled delegates. "Every species in this chamber achieved faster-than-light travel through collective effort spanning millennia. The Zephyrians evolved neural networks over 10,000 years. The Korthak developed their bioengineering across 50 generations. The Veltar achieved harmony through cosmic consciousness over eons. The chamber had grown deathly quiet. Humanity went from first flight to walking on our moon in 66 years. From splitting the atom to mapping our own genome in half a century. From first computer to artificial intelligence in 30 years. Her voice dropped to barely above a whisper, yet somehow every being in the chamber heard her perfectly. "We accomplished in decades what your species required millennia to achieve." Chen began walking toward the center of the chamber, her stride confident and unwavering. "You call our attack on your fleet aggression. We call it Tuesday. You deployed a force that could sterilize 3 star systems. We destroyed it with converted mining ships and civilian freighters crewed by volunteers. The hegemony's military attachés shifted uncomfortably in their sections. The official reports had classified the Centauri incident as a minor police action. You want to know the real reason you're afraid of us?" Chen's voice now filled the chamber like a rallying cry. We are the species that breeds heroes like other worlds breed insects. We are the ones who run toward danger while others flee. We are the stubborn, reckless, impossibly determined children of a world that tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. She stopped in the exact center of the chamber, surrounded by the representatives of galactic civilization, yet somehow commanding the entire space. You offered us a choice. Submit to your accords and become client citizens or face the full might of the galactic hegemony. You expected gratitude for this generous offer. You expected compliance. You expected us to recognize superior force and surrender our sovereignty, like every other species has done for the past 1,000 years. Commander. Chen smiled. Not the practiced diplomatic expression the delegates expected, but something wild and fierce that made primitive survival instincts stir in minds across 47 species. Instead, we choose a third option, she declared. We choose to remind the galaxy what it looks like when someone fights back. The silence stretched for heartbeats that felt like centuries. Humanity rejects your accords. We reject your authority. We reject your empire of willing slaves. And if you want to test the will of 8 billion humans who have never learned how to surrender, Chen's smile grew wider, showing teeth like a predator's promise. We'll be waiting. High Arbiter Velnara realized, too late, that this had never been a trial. It had been a declaration of war.